Hey guys, Joe in here to talk to you about another just little discussion thing, and this week I'll be talking about if you should play with custom moves or shouldn't play with custom moves in your little local tournament place, or just in big tournaments, just what I think about custom moves. Now personally, I think that you probably should not, but I'll be going over that later. Of course you can if you want to, but let me just start with this. So to start off, why I think that you really shouldn't go with custom moves is that while it does give some it does give some characters a lot more stuff they can do, like Ganondorf, like Palutena, and just characters like that. It can give them a lot more stuff to do, can raise their tiers by a lot. It can also make some other characters not become any better, and by default make them worse. So let's think about this for a little bit. Let's say you have Ike, and then you have Ganondorf. Ganondorf gets a lot better with his customs, becomes actually a pretty good character. But Ike's customs kind of all suck. They aren't like the worst, but they're really not that good. So Ike kind of stays where he is, but Ganondorf shoots up a few spots, and this happens with quite a few characters. So the bad characters get worse, some of the bad characters get better, so it pretty much makes more middle characters, but even more terrible characters, which can kind of hurt the game a little bit. It makes it even more unbalanced for a lot of the people playing the bad characters, and overall can give a lot of people in your group a bad taste in their mouth. You probably want to make sure that everybody in your group plays a character that has good customs if you want to play with customs, or else it can just kind of feel bad. Also, if you're playing with DLC characters like Mewtwo, who's really not the best DLC character, then it can feel kind of garbage because you don't even have the option to play with customs. What I was thinking is you could give them like 50 stat of whatever they want or something, I don't even know, but to kind of ferret out. But yeah, whatever. I just don't really think a lot of the times it's just really thought out way too well, because customs, they just kind of change the metagame a lot. They do give certain people a lot more fun, they can give people like Kirby a lot more viability, and overall they can make the game a lot better, but at the same time they can just ruin it for the low tiers, and that's just kind of what I want to say on that little bit. Now, another thing to say about customs is that a few of them are a bit broken. I'm just going to say it, they're a bit broken. Think of Villager's down B, the counter tree, where when he plants it, you trip every time you walk on it. That with his up B, which also explodes, and his side B, which becomes way better, makes Villager one of the best characters in the entire game with customs on. You can pretty much wreck most of the characters in the game. They can't approach him at all. They can't really do anything against him, and it just makes him OP as crap. He has too much zoning. Sure, some characters like she can still beat him, maybe Rosalina can still beat him, quite a few characters can still beat him, but most of the characters that can beat him are high tiers, so once again, it makes the low tiers even worse, which can just once again kind of ruin the game. Also, it can make some characters like DK and once again Ganondorf, or just some characters that get a lot stronger with customs. It can make them only good with customs, which makes the players not want to play without customs, and it can kind of get used to playing with customs, which can be good if you always do, but if sometimes your scene doesn't let you, then it can kind of be weird, especially with people like Toon Link that become a lot better. So overall, customs are kind of in a weird spot, but let's go over some positives, because I have just been going over the negatives, the reasons why I don't like customs. But some positives to customs is that they do allow the metagame to kind of shift around. They let you have a lot more, not really viability, but they let you play in a lot of different ways. So, for example, Luigi has the Ice Fireball, which lingers, so you can play more defensive as Luigi, kind of just throw those out, wait for the opponent, and then counterattack, instead of the regular Fireball, which is more offensive. So that's kind of cool, it can change up your playstyle, but at the same time it can make it really hard to learn, or for your opponent to learn you, and they won't really have much matchup knowledge, so it makes you have to play the game a ton more to get matchup knowledge, and can make games a little bit less competitive, because really you just haven't had enough time with all these custom moves. And if you don't play with customs all the time, it can really make it put yourself into a little difficult pile. But of course it does give you those different playstyles, and it does make some characters like Palutena, who are regularly some of the worst characters in the game, not the worst, but some of the worst, it makes them very strong. For example, Palutena has the down B super speed, or something like that, where she goes faster, and then she also has her side B, which also makes her go faster and be able to combo, kind of like Sonic side B. She also has her up B, which is a little better recovery, and you can attack out of it. So it makes her a lot faster, gives her a down throw to neutral air to up air combo, which can insta-kill. Not really insta-kill, but you know, it has a true combo, and it just makes her a lot better of a character. Maybe even top 10, very, not high tier, but very, very good mid tier character. Maybe even high tier. But at the same time, if you try to face her up with people that would normally be at about her strength, like Zelda, or like Game & Watch, they would probably just get wrecked, and then I don't know, it just wouldn't really feel fair for all those characters with the bad customs. Now the game I know isn't that like really all too balanced in the first place, but I feel like adding customs kind of just ruins the game even more for the low tier characters that didn't get buffed, because a lot of the high tier characters also got some good customs like Rosalina, Luigi, Pikachu, Falcon got some okay ones. So it does make the high tier characters seem to get quite a bit better, and then make some of the low tiers quite a bit worse, which can open up the gap in between good and bad a little bit more. And a lot of people do like character diversity, but this can kind of kill it a little bit. But at the same time, custom moves can also promote character diversity, because for example, not very many play Toon Link, not many players, but with Toon Link's custom moves, he can be used to spam a lot more, and overall he's just a lot better, so more people may be playing Toon Link. Same thing with Palutena, same thing with Ganondorf, same thing with a lot of characters that become a lot better with customs. Just the problem about customs is that it does help certain characters, but it completely ruins some other characters, or they just get countered by certain customs, which can really kind of ruin the game for certain people. The thing about customs is that they're just really hard to tell what exact customs should be allowed, ones shouldn't be. One thing I want to talk about is sometimes some customs are just very strong, maybe a little bit too strong, like Samus's charge shot where it moves slowly and pretty much you can't give back on the edge, or Donkey Kong's up B, or Villager's counter tree, and some people are thinking about banning these. Now I think that this could be a good thing to kind of fair up the game a little bit, but at the same time, if you ban them, then why should you allow any customs? You should be able to play whatever custom you want, right? So if you ban those, then you have to ban them all, but if you don't, then you have to keep these OP customs that are just a little bit too broken and just very, very strong and make the characters too good. So it's really in a hard place, and overall you just have to kind of do the pros and cons yourself. Now, another thing about customs is that, well, certain characters like Palutena, like the Miis, they just have customs that are a lot different than their regular moves. You know, most characters, Ike, Marth, Lucina, I'm only thinking of Fire Emblem, even Robin a little bit, their customs are pretty close to what the original moves are, but characters like Mii's, characters like Palutena, their customs are completely different from what the regular moves are, so it's kind of like a whole new moveset, a whole new character, which is kind of cool, but once again it can make it kind of hard for the enemy to learn the matchup. And mostly what I was saying about this is that if you turn off customs, then pretty much you're turning off the viability of Palutena, you're turning off the viability of the Mii, and you're just turning off the viability of anybody that really needs customs to survive. Mostly though, I want to talk about the Mii in this sense, because the Mii's 1111, it isn't a good Mii for any of the Mii's, sorry to say. Also you have to be in the middle amount of weight, and 1111 just kind of ruins it for Mii's. You kind of have to play with customs on, but if you aren't playing with customs, then they're kind of just not very good. But a problem about the Mii's that a lot of people really can't handle or just don't know what to do is that a lot of them are very strong, even 1111, if they are allowed to be small weight, because small, or the least amount of weight, because you move faster and you have a smaller hitbox and you do pretty much just as much damage. You just fly a little bit earlier into the game, but it really doesn't matter way too much. So you want to be small, but people aren't allowing you to play the small Mii unless you are playing customs, which can kind of ruin the Mii's because they aren't very good unless they can be the small Mii's. So it just kind of makes a little circle of badness. And with the Mii's, their moves are a ton different. Usually you want like 2-1, 2-2 or stuff like that. I kind of wish what the I wish that what people not allowing custom would do with the Mii's is allow you to go middle, maybe even small, and then go 2-2-2-2, 3-3-3-3, or 1-1-1-1, you know, straight out, so then you can't really have way too much variety, but you can still play your Mii character, and you can play them kind of more how you want to play them, but really, it is just really hard. Custom moves, there's negatives, there's positives. Soon at EVO, we'll be seeing if any custom moves completely break the game, and if any moves do completely break the game, make this character way better than everybody else, then I would say to ban customs. But if it does turn out that EVO has a lot of different characters, they have a lot of diversity, they just have a lot of people having fun, it's just overall a funner experience, then I would say keep customs. What this EVO will show us will kind of show us if customs are good, if customs are bad, and then, of course, tournaments in the future can also show us this. Really, you just have to see how other people are doing with it, and if you are in a friend group where you're the only one that will benefit with the customs, and everybody else doesn't, and everyone else is still playing pretty low-tier characters, I'd say don't turn on the customs. You'll just kind of make them mad, and make them feel like you're cheating a little bit, but if you're playing a bad character, but you're still beating most of your friends, but you want them to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more powerful, and they're playing someone like Villager, you can turn on some customs, allow them to use their better moves, and then pretty much it'll give you a little bit of a harder challenge, but at the same time it'll make them have some fun, or just do a little bit better versus you. So pretty much a good challenge. I hope that this has helped you somewhat. I know that I did go over the negatives and positives. I would say don't allow customs unless you do have a lot of people in your area that really want to play them, but if you're overall just very competitive, I'd say don't allow them. But until Evo, we'll just have to see. If Evo turns out customs are very good, then of course allow them. And pretty much this video is all up to Evo. And after Evo, I'll try to go into the comment section below and say what I have seen from Evo. See what's good, see what's bad, and see if customs actually didn't really break the game, or see if they did completely break the game. But we'll just have to see then. Thank you guys for watching. I hope they enjoy this little, not really rant, but this little talk about customs, the good, the bad, and the customs. And I just hope that you'll all enjoy. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, and if you got to the end, tell me what your opinion is on customs. I really want to know, and then ask me a question about it, and maybe I could go over it a little bit more in the comment section. Make sure to tell me a topic that you want me to discuss next time. Sorry that I do stutter a little bit, but I talk pretty fast normally, so it can be a little bit hard. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.